Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about eBay's state of affairs. Now, if you keep track of financials of anybody, you need to keep track of financials of the platforms that you sell on to see where their business is at. Now, last week, eBay released their financials, and if you didn't pay attention, their gross merchandise volume, the amount of merchandise that sold on the site, was down 6.3% just on the U.S. platform. I believe overall for the globe, it was like 4.6% down. Now, that's not a good number. eBay is putting it off on the taxes and things, but they've had a downward trend for quite some time. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody to thinking eBay's done or anything like that, because that's not really the case. No, I'm not trying to scare anybody. eBay's had this downward trend, but 6.39% being down for the year is really bad. Now, on the other note, eBay came in above projections for profitability. So how does eBay declare a profit when this sort of thing happens, when they're selling less merchandise by 6.3%? Well, the facts of it are, they state and are happy with this, that they are constantly raising the fees and collecting more and more money from promoted listings. Now promoted listings, though, is flat over the prior year. So they're not really gaining a whole bunch of ground, but they're raising all of these fees. So that's where their money's coming from. Now, that isn't a model that is sustainable for any certain length of time. For those of you who go to thrift stores and things, you all know what happens when the thrift stores raise the prices. You stop buying it. You stop going there. So if we as sellers keep having our prices raised and less people are buying on the platform, we'll be paying more fees but selling less merchandise. That's how that equates to. So that's not a sustainable model. I'm not saying they're doomed. I'm not saying anything like that, but this just doesn't look very good. Now, the venture capitalists who have squeezed their way onto eBay's board of directors is pushing eBay to sell StubHub, which makes them money. They're set to sell it this year for $4 billion. So this year, they're going to have revenue no matter what. Now, aside from this, too, there has been talk of ICE, which is a company that runs and owns the New York Stock Exchange, about them buying it. Now, everybody's shocked and saying, wow, eBay's up for sale. eBay's not up for sale. ICE has made offers before on many other occasions to buy eBay. eBay isn't looking for an offer. On eBay's side, though, they are looking to expand in some markets, such as in Australia with some auto industry and such forth like that. So at this point, eBay's investing in things. I don't see them rushing to sell because they're going to have revenue coming in no matter what. $4 billion. It's enough to sway their numbers, enough to keep them rolling for another few years, to help give them time to address the direction the company has been heading in. They are rudderless, as we all know. There is no official CEO, so, bad timing for that whole aspect of it with the numbers coming out in the whole works, but it's not the end of the world for anybody. And another aspect, even if eBay is bought out, eBay is a name. Most people don't pay any attention or any concern over who buys what these days. If they want something and that site has it, that's where they're going. There isn't so much a brand loyalty in this day and age in my book. I don't hold any loyalty to any specific company or site anymore at all, because my business isn't based on one site, but it's rather based on multiple sites. 9+ platforms we deal with. 10 if you want to be technical here, where we make money on. And those are our revenue sources, not just eBay or Amazon or any of those. It's a big package deal. All of it goes together, so at the end of the day, I've got one grand total from all of these other sources. It's the only way to be successful. Now, if you're only selling on eBay and you're banking on eBay, you may have some concerns. 6.3% decline in volume of sales is a pretty good number. Most companies want to increase by 2 or 3% at the bare minimum. So they're almost 10% down from where they should be. So that's not good. Now, we all know Amazon's still gaining ground. Walmart's gaining ground, as is Etsy and some other platforms such as Poshmark and McCrary. So competition is out there. Now, eBay can't blow this off as state sales tax. Now, Etsy's a little down. They've had some issues. Amazon is still roaring. They do the same thing that eBay does, though. In all honesty, my personal opinion on the biggest problem with eBay, not even the money aspect, not even what's going on, that could turn around on a dime. They could come up with something like their free listing fees for sneakers over $100. There's all kinds of things they could do that would flood the market with eBay items. Now, if eBay really wanted to be a game changer, in my opinion, what they could do, which would just change the whole dynamics of online selling, would be to offer everybody the chance to list whatever they want for free. Only charge the final value fees. That would be a phenomenal thing that would put tons and tons of items on eBay. Everybody would know that there was a ton more items on eBay. It would increase the volume, and it would increase the people going to the platform. I don't see that happening. I know they're doing the sneakers, as I said, but there's no test market. They're not doing anything with it. They're not asking those questions. That's a drawback. Now, one of the other things eBay is doing is they're forgetting about the sellers. They're not worrying so much about the sellers. Now, a real good example of this from right this very second is them getting rid of Sales Reports Plus, as well as any other feasible means to get sales track records for an entire year. It's not out there. Even eBay's reporting option will only let you go back a few months with valid information, and that's not even really valid. For the most aspect, you have to go to a different site to see what's going on financially on eBay. You got to go to PayPal or something. Now, I know managed payments is a little different. It's not the same aspect of it. But if they can't produce these records, these reports for someone to easily get, they're not taking any concern into your business or mine. They're not worried about that. That's my take on it. That's my opinion, because they're getting rid of something. If you don't know what Sales Reports Plus was, it could instantly give you sales data that was correct, that matched everything on eBay for 1.5 to 2 years at a time. Nowadays, you're lucky if you can get 3. If you don't, or you didn't get it at the time, you can't go back and get it. I went back and looked at August and before, and some of those months only have like 3 or 4 days of data showing up on those reports, and that's it. Now, August itself had only 3 weeks. The first week and a half was gone out of my reports. Now, I don't know how that's possible that eBay can mess that part of it up, but Sales Report Plus always had the information there. If that report can do it, they could easily just swap it around or give that option to everybody. The only take on this is, again, going back to them telling everybody that they're going to be getting better revenue through raising prices, is that they're going to charge us some kind of fee for a system that will monitor all of this. So that's my take on it. It's all about the money for eBay. Now, if somebody takes over eBay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It may be taken over by somebody who knows what they're doing. My only consideration on the ICE is that they are heavily into Bitcoins. And in my opinion, at some point, the government's going to come in and regulate Bitcoin, which could end some of this market. So if, let's say, ICE takes over eBay and integrates Bitcoin, that could be some legal aspect later on down the road. If the banking industry decides that they don't want Bitcoin to be around anymore, all the money rollers in the country are going to gather up together and try and knock that out, or try to capitalize on it and take over the Bitcoin market and treat it as one of their own assets. So that's my concern on stuff like that. I'm not really worried about ICE trying to buy eBay because, again, eBay has had that offer many times. eBay has had other offers as well. So don't panic. Don't concern yourself at this point. eBay platform, no matter who owns it, it's still going to be a platform to sell on. Last fourth quarter, it was number 2 in the country for selling platforms for Christmas time for fourth quarter. So they're still in the top. Even if their volume wasn't good, they still are on the top of that category. So you can't really knock that yet. Now, if they didn't have profitability and they weren't projecting profitability for 2020, it would be a big concern. But if they do sell off StubHub, as they said, and some other aspects such as the classified section, they could have enough revenue to invest. Now, the last criticism I can say on eBay is the buybacks that they did. They got a big, huge tax break, and what they did with that was bought back $5 billion plus. I think it was $5.5 billion in their stock. Now, these are short-term goals. These are short-term things. This is something that will get them money now, but in the long run may hurt the company, just like selling off StubHub. They're going to sell off something that brings in revenue, hoping to help the company, which makes no sense, because, again, if you split stuff off, you may lose. Eckerd's and JCPenney's is a perfect example. Eckerd's and JCPenney's were one company. Once they split, financial trouble started from that point on. PayPal split. eBay and PayPal were one company. Once PayPal and eBay split, PayPal has been continually going up, even though they're splitting off from eBay to some extent. PayPal has gone up. eBay has been stagnant for all of those years since PayPal split. It does not make sense. The track record does not show that this will work. Again, I'm not giving up on eBay in the slightest bit. I'll be there until they nail the nails in the coffin, because I still sell a lot of items on eBay, and we make a ton of money on eBay as well. So just don't worry so much about what's going on right this moment. eBay is fine right now. There's no big thing. And if they do get bought out, it's still going to be business as usual, and it may improve. You never know. I don't have brand loyalty, as I said. You can't do that these days, because who knows what'll come around the next day. You just got to keep up with what's going on. If something changes, your business slows down here, you move a little bit over to another platform or another aspect and bring in the revenue some other ways. So if our eBay sales would drop, we just start running it somewhere else, as we had started to do already. So just a FYI, play it safe, pay attention to these numbers. Knowledge is honestly power, and knowing what's going on will truly help your business. But that's my take on it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.
I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't gamble. I don't fool around with sports cars. I'm a family man. But don't worry, I'm human. There it goes. I'm on Sara Lee fresh frozen banana cake. I eat a lot of Sara Lee fresh banana cake. A lot of smooth, satisfying Sara Lee fresh banana cake. A lot of smooth, satisfying, delicious, succulent Sara Lee fresh banana cake. You're my one vice, Sara Lee. But you're a nice vice.